Welcome to Film
Bastards. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to episode 473 of Film Bastards. My name is Ian Loring, and as always, I'm joined by
Matt Foster. Hello, everybody.
Hello, one and all. Bex is unfortunately not with us today. She is ill. She's all right. She's just coughing.
Yeah, she's got a nasty chest infection, so she sounds like an old washing machine constantly, and then starts coughing.
Nice. She doesn't sound like my washing machine. My washing machine plays tunes.
Does it?
Yeah, we got a new washing machine a month or two back. It's this Samsung one, and like all the reviews were like, it's great, but the noises it makes and the tunes it plays are fucking annoying. And it's like you can turn off the tunes, but it's like it's quite sing-songy when you're selecting programs on it and stuff, and it's just like, all right, we don't need like an eccentric washing machine, Samsung. Like, it is the most boring household appliance.
It's certainly up there,
Because
isn't it?
because at least tumble dryers get things warm.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, what's a more boring household appliance?
I think a toaster.
Yeah, but toasters are like, I'm gonna fucking heat this bread up so quick you won't even believe it.
The
mate.
thing is,
like, toasters are quite impressive.
The thing is, because Bex always mocks me because I'm very much like, I'm kind of like precious about our washing machine, but not even like the washing machine, but washing in general. Because I do pretty much all of the washing because I have like a system for it, and like I'm very proud of my whites game. Like, but like Bex will just go, you just chuck it in and you chuck a tablet, and I'm like, no, you don't. What the you heathen? And so I have like a system so my whites come out like crisp. And yeah, there's a mocking thing. So a guy who used to work for me has just started working as essentially Beck's PA at work. And so on like his first day, they were sort of chatting, and because one of the things they had in common apart from work was the fact that he used to work with for me. And one of the things
they've both fucked you.
yeah, that obviously. You got a fucker you work with. And his thing it was apparently he said to Bex, is he still obsessed with his whites washes? And Bex like, oh my god, does he talk about it at work? I was like, yeah, he's well proud of his whites wash. But to be fair, I use that system now, and it's such a good system.
Wow.
Is your Samsung that one that's got a little drawer in it that you can add things into the wash midway through?
No, that's like a Model R.
Yeah, I
was wondering about.
Yeah, I nearly got it. I nearly got that one when we got our washing machine when we moved house. Except the reason why we didn't is I thought, am I paying like double the cost for a washing machine for a drawer that I might use twice?
That shit's pretty sweet, man. It's like like we're going to be remodeling the kitchen as like a going concern next year, and I was looking at fridges, and it's like I wanted one that could dispense ice at the front, and it's just like they're fucking huge, and they're really expensive, and I was very, very disappointed. We're not going to be able to make it work, and I'm somewhat crushed, but we are getting an induction hob put in, and I'm very excited about that.
We're taking out ours and putting in a gas one next year.
Okay.
Because just because we've got that used to gas that we just prefer it. But I think. You know, you have those weird things that you look at and go, it will be a life achievement for me to have one of these things, and a fridge or a freezer that dispenses ice is one of those. It does. There will be, we will have some American listeners, I think, that are listening to this now going, wait a minute, what? You mean your freezers don't dispense ice? They don't in the UK, because it's
No, they
fucking
don't.
cold most of the time. But I still kind of want one. And one of the other ones that I had was, and it's really weird, and this is all, I blame movies for this, right? And it's the simplest thing. What I'm going to say, you could do for like under a tenner. But basically, you know those like clear plastic tubs, like the tall ones that you can put like cereal in and bits like that.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I always wanted to just have those, like 2 or 3 of those that just had different cereals in, so I'd have different cereal choices. And now we have it, and I've had it for like quite a number of years. The thing is, barely ever eat cereal, but I've got these 3 things full of cereal so that they don't look weird, but barely ever eat cereal.
That shit feels like too much maintenance to me. It's like you got the box of cereal, and then you have to move that box of cereal into another container.
Yeah,
I get it. If I could pay someone to do that,
that's it. I'm heavily
I think that would be all
like,
right. But then again, I have microwavable porridge oats for breakfast, the most boring of all breakfasts. So
see, I don't like the microwave. I'm mildly scared of the microwave. So I refuse to use the microwave, like, completely. I will make anything on a hob if I do not have to use the microwave.
yeah, it's the space oven, isn't it? I get it. I get it.
Yeah, that's a brilliant description, the space oven. So Bex will pass and go, can you microwave that? Fuck no. I will do any other household job right now. I am not microwaving shit.
You know, I tell you what though, do you know what's a good sloppy hangover food?
Go on.
Stick a cheese sandwich in the microwave.
See, I will pan that shit easy.
Oh. Like Donna, if Donna heard me, she'd be shouting right now. But yeah. Also, on the household appliances, we'll get to films.
Yeah, we will do at some point. Yeah.
All right, hang on. I've got a Nest smoke detector and carbon monoxide detector, a battery-powered one, and it ran out of battery last week. And you have to... They are like, this smoke detector will only take Energizer lithium batteries.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I didn't even know lithium batteries were a thing. Yes. And I got them on Amazon, and it cost me like a tenner for 10 of them. Like... And that felt like I got them quite cheap.
That is not bad, yeah.
Why? Why? It's
bonkers.
Why do I...
We used to, when we had the fireplace shop, we used to do a fireplace company called Drew, who are like the premium level of gas fires. They are like the... for instance, we once did one for a guy where we fit one fire we fit for him. It was a big unit. And the whole job just came to like 26 grand. But like the fires are like the absolute, like the best ones you can get out there. The funny thing was, you know, in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the Fincher version of it, there's a bit where Stellan Skarsgård, it's showing you his house thing, and there's a fire in the background. On the director's commentary, Fincher is talking about how much of a pain in the arse that fire was to get lit. So they didn't just light it; they just they CG'd in the fire from the
CG'd it, of course they did. Yeah.
And I was looking at it going, I know, because that is a Drew fire. I know why it's a pain in the arse to Not only that, I know how to fix it. And the weird thing is, they've got they all work off a remote. And the issue that you've got for these incredibly expensive fires is everybody who buys them, it has quite a lot of money, so they will go out and they will buy Energizer or Duracell batteries to put in the remote and in the receiver that is in the control panel. The problem is, those batteries are too good, and so what they do is they pump too much energy through and it shorts out the circuit. So we had to literally tell people who were spending like a fortune on these, saying, please, don't buy good batteries, buy cheap, shitty batteries. You will hardly ever have to replace them because the amount of energy they need is so little that you will have to replace them every couple of years. But if you buy a decent battery, it will just pump in too much energy too quickly and the fire will short out.
I mean, that's wild. But the thing is, right, this detector, I think I've had it for about 3 years, and it's the first time I've needed to change the batteries. You know, fair play, because it doesn't run off mains. And it's 6 batteries. And I'm just thinking, like, but I'd probably take changing the batteries once a year.
If it was 2.
Yeah, and if it was 2 of these lithium ones, or 4 normal ones. Like, it blows my mind that it's like, it needs 6 of them to last, like, 3 years. It's like, is it just because they're like, well, 3 years is a good lifespan? It probably is that, but I don't know. It was wild though. It was just like I looked up what type of batteries they were, and literally the Nest website were like Energizer lithium. It's gotta be lithium batteries. It was like, right, an Energizer one. So it was like, right, okay, and you know, lo and behold, I opened up the smoke detector. There's Energizer lithium batteries in there, so no fooling. But yeah, wild. But there you go. So just if you're gonna buy a Nest smoke and carbon monoxide detector, just remember, you're going to need to, like, pay out the arse for batteries.
Yep. That's our consumer advice for the week.
Absolutely. So, that was quite an indulgent start.
I mean, there's a theme, yeah.
Yeah. For, you know, it's our Christmas show. It's time to get indulgent. It's time to cozy up to some big, nice, long movies. And we've got some fucking long movies to talk about this week, folks. So, we are going to be talking about Avatar, The Way of Water. We are going to be talking about Bardo, False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths. And we are going to be talking about The Fablemans. What a show. What a lineup. Here we go.
It is. It's what? 3, 5... It's like 9 hours worth of movies.
Yeah, getting on for 9 hours worth of films.
Which,
Jesus Christ.
Which I have watched all of in the past 24 hours.
Jesus, really?
Yeah, watched 2 of them today.
You went to see Avatar today?
Yeah, it was always part of the plan. I knew I had a bit of a up and down week, so it was always, I'm going to get these in towards the end of the week. One of my plans was to watch one of them last Thursday, but then we had a problem with our boiler, and I ended up having the day off. But my day off went terribly, so I was in a grump, so didn't do anything.
Right.
Literally sat doing nothing for hours because I was too grumpy to do anything.
That's fair. Fair. That's pretty intense though. That's a lot of watching. So we'll also talk some trailers, some what we've been watching, and I mean, is there news? I kind of feel like we could probably skip to trailers unless there was anything that kind of came top of mind for you. Henry Cavill.
Yeah, the Cavill no longer being Superman. The Henry Cavill continuing to just come across as being an incredibly measured and good dude with the statement that he put out from it. Was just really like, very much like the grown-up in the room. The more that comes out about this James Gunniverse of DC, the more I am getting a little bit... Every time a bit of news comes out, and I think I've done this a few times in the chat we have on WhatsApp, it is very much the James Gunn energy is, I'm the captain now. And it's a bit like, fuck off, James. Do you know what? Everyone was bitching and moaning about about essentially the Snyderverse. I guarantee you that the Gunniverse is going to be very, very old hat very fucking quickly.
Yeah, it's him writing a young Superman film. Feels, I mean, let's see, but it feels like a clash of material and writer. But, you know, we shall see. You know, the fact, you know, apparently the speculation is that Aquaman 2 will be the last Aquaman film, but they're potentially looking at casting Jason Momoa as someone else, which is insanity. I mean, that's Aquaman is still a year away.
Yeah.
And it's just, you're going to have all these films coming out over the next year that, what? They're basically cutting their losses at this point, are they? So, like, Shazam's coming out.
Shazam. So, Shazam trailer in front of Avatar today, right? Shazam, big billboard in the cinema, March 17th. Trailer for it still said December 21st.
Yeah, there you go. It's wild. It's wild. And I mean, like, Guns, like, said, it's going to be crossing movies, TV, games, things like that. I mean, that's one thing that Marvel don't tend to do is with their games, the games are their own universe. I mean, you know, in the Spider-Verse trailer, there was like the PlayStation Peter Parker in the background, but it is its own universe. It looks like Gunn is gonna weave games into it as well, and I'm a bit. I just hope that they are spin-offy as fuck, because you think people have a hard time keeping up with the MCU with TV shows. Add a 30-hour game into the mix.
Yes, they should be massive side quests if they're going to be games. They cannot. It cannot be that you will get more out of the third fucking whatever iteration of Superman they do if you've played this 110-hour game.
Quite. I mean, obviously we'll see, and James Gunn said that they'll be like sharing more stuff in the new year. Like, they are gonna need the critical tide already seems to be turning on James Gunn. It's not going to take that much to get people back. People are fucking fickle as fuck.
But
you know,
if Guardians is shit or even not great, then people can start going, well, hang on a minute. You know, when was the last really good thing he did? But again, if Guardians is very, very good, it'll be, I can't wait to see what he does with all of these DC characters.
Yeah, it's odd. It's odd. We'll see. It's this whole thing with like folks like James Gunn and Joss Whedon and whatnot, where it's just like these geeks inherit the earth, and then it kind of seems like they're just dicks.
Yeah,
like that. You know, Elon Musk. You know, and it, like, James Gunn started being shitty to people on Twitter, and it's just like, do you know what, mate? You're the CEO of DC, co-CEO of DC. Maybe just don't. If it means you can't have as much of a Twitter presence, maybe that's okay.
Yeah, maybe it's okay if you just rein it in a little bit. And again, like I said, Cavill just put out a statement saying what an honour it had been, and it was just it was a real classy kind of move. And then even Gunn's been a little bit iffy about that, and it's just, mate, just why don't you just try and be the classy guy for once? Be a bit more Paul Feig.
Yep. And I mean, like, now Cavill's doing a Warhammer thing for Amazon, and it's just like, that dude likes Warhammer. He's a fucking geek. So now, like, he wins anyway.
Yeah,
which is lovely.
I do love the fact that basically they've gone for Warhammer. They've gone, oh, we'd love to get Cavill. Wait a minute, we can, because it's Warhammer, and he'll say yes.
Well, no, I mean, he chased the rights. Yeah. It was like him and like a couple of other people approached Amazon and were just like, we think we can do this. And I'm kind of up for that, to be honest. Like, fucking a series with Henry Cavill as a space marine.
Yep.
Sounds great.
You've kind of, with the exception of Enola Holmes 2, you've kind of got me at Henry Cavill in.
Yeah, quite. So, good. I'm glad, because obviously he left The Witcher, and the speculation was because he was going to be Superman, he was going to be pretty fucking busy. And even though also apparently he didn't like the way that they, like, the direction the show was going in. and then got shit canned from this. So I'm just glad he had a very quick win.
Yep. And even with the shit canning, he got paid.
Yeah, apparently he got $250,000 for doing the cameo in Black Adam. Not bad work if you can get it, is it?
No.
So,
probably got paid more than the points that The Rock won't be getting.
It continues to be funny. It's just like the fact, like, and now he's like come out saying like I saw a tweet from him the other day saying like, oh, it's a toxic atmosphere out there right now. But to be fair, he's kind of doing the right thing by just like, it looks like he's just laying low a bit at the moment.
Yeah,
that's probably the right thing to fucking do. Maybe we just don't need The Rock out there for a little bit.
Yeah, you'd hope that somebody has gone up to him and gone, just have Christmas. Have Christmas where you don't try and shill anything to anybody.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, there we go. All right. So let's move on then. So, trailers. Not really a trailer, but a big old Mission Impossible featurette.
Yeah.
Along with a video of Tom Cruise jumping out of a plane and calmly talking to the camera while falling through the sky.
Yeah,
to promote the release of Top Gun Maverick on Paramount Plus, I think.
And to basically say thank you to people. It's just...
It's great.
Do you know what I really like about these little snippet videos we keep getting of Cruise? The fact that him and Chris McQuarrie just seem like really good buddies who know that artistically they are a good team. That they have like the ultimate trust in each other. They seem like good dudes together, but they also seem like the exact opposite. Like Chris McQuarrie's like, you're mental. Like he seems like he can't quite. He seems really impressed that his mate does all this shit, and Cruise seems really like, do you know what? I like the fact that I've got this guy who now. Who can write all this really fucking mad shit that I want to do, that can write something that makes even me go, wait a minute, you're going to let me do what?
Yeah, I really, really need Macquarie to just do one of these things with him one day. Just do a skydive with him. It'll be really fun.
Yeah. It'll be one of those things where something like, it's going to turn out that Cruise is, if Day of Reckoning crosses like $1 billion, Cruise says, I will give $1 million to charity if Christopher McQuarrie does a skydive with me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You want it to be something like that, don't you? And it's that featurette. Just when he like looks at the footage of like the first time he does the stunt, he's like, I think I could have held onto the bike for longer. Just does it again. I mean, and then he ends up doing it 6 times. It's obviously it's kind of reached a tipping point in a way where it's like a lot of this he's doing it so many times because then he can talk about how many times he's done it in a featurette and like in terms of the movie marketing of it. And I'm not saying that cynically because like I think that's absolutely fair enough. But yeah, what the fuck's he going to do in part 2? Because I'm assuming this is for part 1. What's he going to do in part 2? Because if it's going to be the end of the Mission Impossible franchise with Tom Cruise in it, how is he going to cap it off?
That's it. It's such a... The fact that they are in such a zone with it at the moment, I think, is a big thing. That they are... They're wanting to go, do you know what, let's fucking... This doesn't happen often, where you get into such a fucking zone with something that we need to make sure we ride this magic out and then don't flog it too much. They're just looking at, right, what can we do that's bonkers? But I also like the fact that they're looking at it and going, what can we do that's bonkers, but that we can actually do? So they don't have an unlimited scope to do. But they have as near to the limits as you can get. And that makes it more interesting. You know, I've always said that the worst thing that happens to creative or visionary directors is when they can do anything. So Tim Burton is a prime example. Once you put the world at his fingertips and you can do anything with CG, it started just getting quite boring and a little bit like, yeah, that's not actually interesting. Having a hint of limits can actually help sometimes.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this immensely. This film. It is gonna be. Sorry, I'm just looking at something here. I'm sounding distracted, but is it? Is there a new Spider-Verse trailer?
Is there already? Is that because of the meek response to the last one?
I don't know. Hang on. Okay, no, it's a poster. It's a fucking poster. Where it's loads. Okay, it's a poster. Sorry. Yeah. One of the probably my most anticipated blockbuster of next year, Dead Reckoning.
Yeah.
Part 1. Yeah, we shall see. Roll on July. Oppenheimer.
Yeah, it's. I have a feeling there will be a more blockbuster-friendly trailer at some point for this. This looks very much like a. It's very introspective, and it's looking at the "what have we created" kind of vibe.
I am gonna say now. I think Oppenheimer is. Fucking hell! I just realised it's a pun before I say it. It's going to be one of the biggest bombs of next year.
The only thing I think that will stop it from being that is there. Obviously, I work with a lot of younger people, and I talk a lot about film with them because a few of them are studying film at university, but more of them are not. And the one film that keeps getting brought up, there's two films that keep getting brought up for next year. One is there really a Barbie film coming out next year, which of course we'll come to in a minute, and the other one is I'm really looking forward to that new Nolan one.
Really? Okay.
Yes, it's the Nolan factor of it is going to be, I think, is the selling point. Is he does have a sway over it. Also, what I will say is from the general sort of vibe, because it is good to talk to different people, different sort of scales of people. And also, my mum has mentioned going to see the Oppenheimer movie, and my mum goes to the cinema like once every 5 years. But the buzz around Marvel is just gone.
Well, I kind of think just the buzz around movies has gone a little bit. Just at least in terms of the kind of like the real world conversations that I have. I was talking about Nope and in work the other day, and people were looking at me like I was a fucking alien.
Well, it's
just like, what's this film?
It's weird. Like like I say, a lot like the people the company I work for now, it has a lot of staff, and a lot of those staff are between the ages of like 16 and like 21, 22. And I've actually been quite hard. They go to the cinema loads. Like
really?
All of them go to the cinema like at least like once every 2 weeks, once every couple of weeks, and it's been like quite refreshing. For it, I've been a little bit like, whoa, that's fucking, and the ones who got the cinema the least, the ones that are studying film, seem to got the cinema the least. Shazam's a big deal for people as well.
That first film's well liked.
Yeah, loads of people are really looking forward to like Shazam.
But I mean, like with Oppenheimer, it's like they played the trailer in the IMAX before Avatar. No, there was like no murmuring whatsoever. Through the Mission Impossible featurette thing, people were like, fucking hell, oh yeah, we need to see that. Like, I was hearing that kind of chatter just around. Even with Ant-Man and the Wasp, people were kind of talking Oppenheimer. You could hear a pin drop, and it just. I mean, I take your points, Mark, and I want to be wrong. I want to make this very clear. I hope I am this time next year. I sound like a massive twat with this, but this year has been very unkind towards big serious films commercially, and this is a big serious film. The trailer that has been released online is different from the one that plays in the IMAX. The one that plays in the IMAX starts with like maybe 10-15 seconds of Cillian Murphy climbing a ladder.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
In IMAX. Yeah. And it's... I think the idea of like basically a historical fact-based drama in the grandest cinematic scale you can imagine is a really interesting concept.
Yeah.
But
I think the thing that might
I'm just worried how commercial it's going to be.
I think the thing that might save it is it's his cheapest movie since The Prestige.
But I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, because apart from the bomb testing and whatnot,
which is
it's a period film,
which is practical. Which they've done.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah,
that rules.
I did like the fact that something came out where he said we worked out a way to do the explosion via practical, and every film fan made the same joke in their head, which was, fuck, he's gonna set off a nuclear bomb, isn't he?
Absolutely. Can't help but think it's going to be like really, really sophisticated miniatures or something. I don't know. We'll see.
I think it's going to be a combination of miniatures and. Did you ever watch the making of Tree of Life, where they did like the Big Bang and bits like that? And you're looking at going, wow, it's miniatures, but it used like light, air, and different like coloured sand and paint powders and bits like that. And you're watching it going, hang on a minute, all of that, because they showed it and went, look, this is what we used, created that fucking image. That's incredible. And Malik was like, yeah, we did like a rendering for it on computers and everything like that, and I thought it looked like shit. So we did it for literally a tenth of the cost, just being smart.
Nice, yeah, and look, we'll see. I'm not particularly buzzed by either of the trailers, which I think probably hastens this feeling on for me. But I mean, like, the cast is good. It's Nolan. You know what I mean? Like, of course I'm going to be there, but I'm not feeling it right now.
I'm quite buzzed for it. I think as well, low-key in a weird way, for films to be massively successful, they have to get people who don't normally go to the cinema to go. It's just, I think that gets people to go to the cinema, or gets people to watch interesting things, because there's a lot of really big Peaky Blinders fans out there. Obviously it's TV, so I watched one episode and went, big whoop. But yeah, there's a lot of people who really seem to enjoy that show.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah, we'll see. Let's see. So we kind of mentioned it in passing, but Barbie. I mean, well done for Warner Brothers for kicking off a marketing campaign that will interest absolutely zero children.
Right,
but
so
film Twitter really enjoyed it. So well
this
done.
is the thing I've got here. Right. I am going to play devil's advocate and then criticise myself at the same time here. So this is a very much a devil and fucking angel on each fucking shoulder. Personally, as a 40-year-old man, I am looking forward to whatever shit this is fucking trying to do, because it looks a bit bonkers and a bit interesting. However, no matter what, Barbie, you know, I've got a friend whose daughter is really into Barbies. And like for the past few years, I always buy her some Barbie stuff for Christmas, and it's there. If this is what it looks like it might be, if she sees that on like posters and billboards and bits like that, and buses, and she's pointing out and going, "Oh, there's a Barbie movie out." I'm just hoping that it's not. And I don't think it's going to be, because I don't think Mattel would let it be, because they're incredibly protective about Barbie. I hope that it's going to be accessible enough that it is for Barbie fans and film fans. And by Barbie fans, I don't mean weird 45-year-old guys. I mean kids. You know, there is an element of that is a bit like, do you know what? We, our generation, we don't need everything to be tailored to us. We don't need the nostalgia of our youth then thrown back at us now when we're all a little bit cynical and a little bit snide. I'm kind of... But then the other bit of me is going, yeah, but it'd be quite funny though, wouldn't it? And I'm going, yeah, it fucking would be. For me, but I don't have a stack of Barbies. And I've been a little bit bonkers.
I don't know. Because I mean, it looks like it's going to be. It looks like it's going to be mad, and it could be really, really fun. But I mean that trailer.
I think what I'm saying is, if I go to the cinema and I come out of it having had a great time, but I'm walking by a guy who's taken his daughter or his son or his children, we'll say, and they're walking out going, what? I don't understand what was going on there, you know, and they're disappointed. I'm a little bit like, that's not right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it's the Lego movie for Barbie, then I'm absolutely fine for kids. Hopefully,
that's what Beck
okay
said.
For adults.
That's what Beck said.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's that. And I was like, do you know what? Yes. Yeah, you're both right. If it's that, all right. Stop being minge face, Mark.
It's just that trailer is not made for kids. And, you know, I don't know. I was on a Reddit thread about this the other day. And, like, people were kind of saying, like, well, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be for kids. And it's like... Yeah, I'm sure Warner Brothers are fucking thrilled about the prospect of making a Barbie film that doesn't appeal to kids. I bet they're really pumped about that. And it's a funny trailer, but it just this film probably shouldn't be for the people this trailer actually appeals to. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm a little bit like that. It doesn't have to be for kids. Yeah, it fucking does. Based on a fucking toy. It's the reverse of fucking. There shouldn't be fucking RoboCop toys. It's based on a fucking toy. Yes, it should be for kids. Sorry, it fucking should be. But also, I will enjoy it if it's a little bit mad, and it's that.
And to be fair, I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying that Noah Baumbach co-wrote Madagascar 3.
Yeah. Which is a really fun movie.
Which is a good film.
Yeah,
that like
I enjoy Madagascar 3 because it drops you in as if you've been watching it for half an hour.
Yeah. I mean, like that film is the answer to the question: what third part of a series is better than the first part?
Yeah, Madagascar 3 is a good
Madagascar
time.
3, Europe's Most Wanted.
Yep.
So who's to say? But it just, I don't know. Let little kids have films. And also, to be fair, kids' films at the box office have been a little bit dicey. In the US, anyway, have been dicey as fuck this year.
Yeah, it's not been...
Strange World. Lyle Crocodile didn't do that well in the US. It's done really well in the UK, actually, but not that well in the US. Paws of Fury. Like, almost every single aimed at kids' films have done fuck all. And there's just this, I don't know, bit of a vibe of kids aren't going to the cinema and being, wow, the cinema is something, isn't it? At the moment, which worries me.
Minions and Sonic 2 both still did very well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, and those are the two.
Yeah, they're the two. But yeah, I think it's more that like you say, Lightyear didn't, and the bad guys didn't quite hit as well as they expected.
Yeah. Sing 2 did okay right at the start of the year. That did all right.
Yes.
But there's fuck all out coming for kids. It's really weird. Like Puss in Boots, you release that now, that would do well. It's out in the US this week. Doesn't come out over here until early February. It's like I'm pretty sure that Puss in Boots can sit in the same market as Avatar.
Yeah.
But hey, yeah. Super Mario's out in April and it's going to make every single bit of money.
Yeah.
Like that fucker is. I could see that fucker doing like 2 billion worldwide.
Yeah, I could see that being just bombastic.
Everyone's seeing Super Mario. I'll probably end up seeing it twice.
Fair play.
I want to see it in IMAX and I want to see it in 4DX. That's the thing. I want to see Super Mario in 4DX.
I don't blame you actually on that one.
You give me that 3D 4DX, I will say, yes, please. Thank you, sir. May I have another? We got any more?
I don't. I have a fun reaction in the cinema to the Whitney Houston "I Want to Dance with Somebody" trailer. Someone turned around to what I said, the rest of his mates, and went, as the trailer was just finished, and went, "Who the fuck is she?" And that made me go, "Oh, that's a fair point." Like, Whitney Houston might not be the cultural fucking stamp that you think she is.
Well, I mean, it's funny because that film is now being marketed as Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Yes. And I was watching it going, right, there's a lot of her, like, there's a lot of her singing, and there's a lot of her, like, having arguments with her dad, and all this lot. I'm thinking, I just wonder if there's going to be any of Whitney Houston, the crack addict, in it.
I didn't know Corsage was coming out on Boxing Day.
Apparently, yeah.
Huh. Sorry, I was just looking at the Cineworld listings, and it's like literally Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. 2 hours 24 fucking minutes. Jesus Christ.
2 hours 24 minutes.
Yep.
Fucking hell.
And it's just you would have had better name recognition if it was "I Will Always Love You," the Whitney Houston story, or something like that. You know what I mean?
The reason why they won't be able to do that is because they've had to have given Dolly Parton money, wouldn't they?
Oh fuck yeah! Oh, of course, yeah, good shout. That's the thing. It's like, I Want to Dance with Somebody. It's like one of those songs that, like, if you played it, you know it, but it might take you a minute to actually go like, who sung it?
Yeah, it's just I don't think that she is as universally just like, oh, it's Whitney Houston as people are thinking she is.
Well, we shall see. I'm still planning on seeing it. Even though that run time's just made me think, I don't know, maybe I'll reconsider.
That's it for trailers.
Boxing Day, though, so. Okay, well, let's get into it then. Tuvatar, The Way of Tutor, is directed by James Cameron. It stars Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Stephen Lang, Edie Falco, and others, including the fantastically named CCH Pounder. Just one of the great names. So, Tuvatar, The Way of Tutor, sees Jake Sully back, and he's got kids. He's got a bunch of kids. Sigourney Weaver's one of them. I forgot about that. Sigourney Weaver's a kid? Yeah. She is.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, she plays Kiri, who came out of Grace Augustine's Avatar, and no one knows who fucked the blue lady.
Not only that, the explanation for it is like, we just don't know how it happened. What?
No, yeah, brilliant, good stuff. They're back. They've got kids, and Quaritch is back, played by Stephen Lang, in a blue body, and they're coming after the Sullys, so the Sullys have to go away. And where do they go? They bring their trail of destruction to nice, friendly water folk who haven't done anything wrong. And then there's space whales who committed murder with a religious intent.
Why not?
Tuvatar, The Way of Tutor. It's been 13 years coming, and I think it's safe to say we're all at the very least ambivalent about Avatar on this show. But Mark went to see Tuvatar today. Mark, did you enjoy The Way of Tutor?
Well, before I talk about Tuvatar, what I'm going to do is say, rather than covering this in what we've been watching, I'm going to say I also rewatched Avatar, because it has been a long time since I watched Avatar as well, so I thought I better do that. Avatar's shit, which really worried me, because it's shit. It's really shit. It's really boring.
It looks like crap on Disney Plus as well. Can I just say?
It looks like hammered shit.
I put Avatar on Disney Plus for the dog when we go out, because it's really long.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I used to put Pete's Dragon on for the dog when we used to go out and we had a dog. But yeah, Avatar's not very good. I don't get it. The best bits of Avatar are any bit where Stephen Lang is in it, but not when he's on Pandora, actually on Pandora, when he's just wandering around looking buff and turning chairs around to sit on them. I was like, he sounds fucking great. He's an absolute prick, but at least I know where I stand with him. The rest of it is just absolute, just waffle and crap. And yes, but what I will say there is, it is going from Avatar to the second one is a little bit like when 2009 is like, it's like looking at it and going, fucking hell, this is the absolute limit you can push a PlayStation 3 to. You're never going to get better than this. And then watching Avatar 2, you're going, it's the PS5. Yeah, fair enough. But the other amusing bit, before I get into what I thought of the second one, is me and Bex are doing we like to have a 40-minute show, kind of on the go, but one we've already seen. So we'll rewatch things like Twin Peaks and Sons of Anarchy and bits like that. Just so we can have it on as something where you haven't got time to watch a film, but you need to just decompress. So we've been rewatching Bones recently, and weirdly, the day before Avatar the sequel came out was an episode where 3 of the characters have advanced screening tickets to Avatar. But they have to queue up to get into it because there's only so many seats. So they have to try and work out during their day who can be manning the queue line for it. And they keep having to rush off to do that. One of the characters that is in this is actually played by Joel David Moore as well.
That's very good.
Yeah. So, going into the second Avatar, I was a little bit I am fucking worried after my experience rewatching Avatar. What I will say about Avatar The Way of Water is, it's better than the first. It looks better than the first. And the story, although still not very good, is better than the first. However, it's fucking boring for a good hour and a half, where it is just really boring and just repeats the same things. But not only repeats the same things that have happened in this movie, it's repeating other shit that happened in the first movie, but just in water. And then there's other little bits in it that made me go, wait, hang on a minute. Right. So let me get this straight. All of Stephen Lang's team are all are all dead, but their consciousness has been put into these Na'vi avatars. I'm correct in that, aren't I?
Yeah, it's like their memories and whatnot just before they went into the final battle.
Right. So that's it. So do you know what? I'm fine with that. I can get behind the sci-fi-ness and everything like that. All cool with that. Not a problem at all. Right? However, did they have to hire a tattoo artist to tattoo them all in between the avatars being born and them on their way back to Pandora?
Straight up, I think there is a tattooist on ship.
On the ship. There must be.
That tattoos.
Yeah. And again, if that is the case, I'm actually weirdly alright with that. But it must be. There must be a tattoo. I would love just like literally just in the next one there be a scene of one of them just getting a tattoo and the tattoo artist just wanders off after that. Because it was a bit like that.
There's more likely to be that than there is a fucking daycare for Quaritch's kid.
Yeah. Yeah. There is that but right. But the first sort of like, if you take away from the fact that...
I hope Jordan's enjoying this, by the way. He couldn't join us, and I hope he's enjoying this review.
I also will forgive the fact that the voiceover in the first one, at the start of it, is supposed to be Jake Sully essentially doing like his his diary log that he's got to do for no fucking reason. That even he says, "I goes, why do I have to do this? Because you just do." But then he's still doing it in this one.
Yeah.
But the first hour is really quite entertaining. Until they literally go, no, we need to fuck off somewhere else. What? That decision happened very fucking quickly. And then you've got an hour and a half that is just boring. And then the end bit is Cameron fucking redoing the hit, which is fine. But you have shades of... I don't mean saying but. It's cool. You've got shades of Aliens. You've got shades of T2. You've got shades of the fucking Abyss. And also, with the fact that you've got, also all the time, a ship going down, you've got shades of Titanic, and then he's just throwing his blue people at it. Fuck it. Have at it. Should have ended 10 minutes. That sequence should have ended 10 minutes before it did. It just goes on way too long. But I can't say overall I didn't enjoy my time enough with it. It's a bit boring. But at least this one fucking looks nice.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm at I think I liked it a bit more than you, but relatively similar place. The thing that makes me laugh about it is, I bet if Cameron could take his time back, he would have been like, oh, fuck. I wish the first one was set in water and I could just be in water all along. It feels like this film, a lot of the reason it exists is so he can move them to being water-based, so he can do lots of water filming.
Yeah, which is what he loves, which is cool. I'm fine with that.
Which is, I mean, he absolutely... Hey, look, I mean, the dude is a commercial filmmaker. He makes films that make money. If it's like, right, give me a shitload of money to do this, and in return you will make a shitload more money, then, you know, that's absolutely fine and good on him. In terms of indulgent filmmaking to lead to commercial success, I think this is the one film this week that we're talking about that will do that. So all credit to him for it. But it does make me laugh that there are a lot of very, very, very similar plot beats in this film to the first one. Yeah. The outsiders, instead of outsider, having to learn new ways of life. I mean, it's Avatar.
Yeah.
You've got some star-crossed lovers all up in there, like Avatar.
Yep.
You've got Quaritch like Avatar, which I was disappointed by that. You know, just like, right, we're just gonna have him again then,
and it looks like we're gonna have him again.
Yeah, exactly, and it's I don't know, like that spider character. I mean, like, I know he's your dad, kind of, but also he's not your dad, and
boy new.
He's literally trying to murder your adopted family, mate.
Yeah,
I don't buy that character arc. I don't buy it. I would have rather that it just was lazier and was just like, right, okay, I'm going to go on Quaritch's side now because I like guns or something. It feels okay. Oh, he's conflicted. He's so conflicted. Why?
They could have made it.
Quaritch is.
They could have made it quite easily to get him onto Quaritch's side by having Zoe Saldana's character seems to fucking hate
doesn't like
Spider.
him.
Yeah,
she exactly
doesn't.
Yeah,
he could quite easily by a simple line of dialogue could have had her when she's got the knife around his throat saying he's not one of us.
Because I thought that was going to be the turning point.
Yeah, I
thought he was then going to go, oh shit, my place is with Quaritch.
Yeah, but he doesn't. He just goes off. But you get the feeling that that's going to happen at some point in the next one.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
But the other bit, I mean, skipping away from the movie a little bit, I went to a fairly semi-busy, not mega busy, but it was a 20 to 11 in the morning screening on a fucking Tuesday. But as the credit started and I zipped out straight away. And as I was walking out, I heard 3 separate groups of people all say essentially the same thing, which was, that was boring. It was like a really, like palpable people were like, that was boring.
It's I mean, just talking about that kind of thing for a second. I mean, it's interesting. It missed even the low end of its projections in the US by 10%. It was projected to do at least 150, ended up doing 135. And Deadline were at pains twisting themselves into knots to say why it didn't really matter, and that people are actually like saving themselves for when they can get seats for the large format, like seats and things like that. And it's a bit, if it doesn't hold next weekend, that franchise is in trouble.
Yes.
For how much, like Cameron coming out and saying it basically has to do 2 billion to break even.
That film's not doing 2 billion.
No, I mean, it's not. It would have to have the legs of the first one, and it's not being received as rapturously as the first one. Because, you know, lest we forget, when the first one came out, I swear to fucking God, I was one of the only people of anyone I paid attention to, and I paid attention to a lot of fucking film people then, who was like, yeah, don't see what all the fuss was about that.
I was very much one of those. I remember I remember having that conversation with Dan about it, where we were both saying don't get the big fusses about, and then Dan messaged me about literally 3 hours later saying, I feel so bad, and it was a picture of him walking in to see it again.
Nice. But yeah, I don't know, it's going to be really interesting to see how it holds. It's done about, I think, 430 million worldwide, you know, which would be a good start if it wasn't the sequel to the highest grossing film of all time. So we shall see. But the film itself, so the thing, I agree. I think the first hour, like before they fuck off to the water, is all right. I think they do a very good job of establishing all the kids very quickly.
Yep.
Sigourney Weaver doesn't feel like a teenager, but I think she's very, very game, and she's doing her best, and people seem to enjoy that performance. I'm a little bit, this feels like a miscalculation, but it's cool that you've got someone of the acting heft of Sigourney Weaver try to have a crack at that assignment. I think that's interesting. It's interesting more than successful for me.
I think it's saved by the fact that there are two performances that are quite frankly fucking terrible in this movie.
What, Bro and Cuz?
Well, no, not even that. Of the more
Spider.
recognisable cast.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Zoe Saldana and Kate Winslet are fucking appalling in this movie. Like Saldana is.
They don't have anything to do.
No, they don't. But anytime that anything goes anywhere near Saldana, she just starts screeching, and it is just a bit like, this is weird.
It's
weird.
I feel like she's being directed that way. Like, this is, and it's interesting because Cameron's been getting a bit of shit over the last 24 hours or so for an interview where he was just like, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but it was just like, you know, Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman are really fantastic characters, but they're not mothers. Mothers are strong women. And I thought it was interesting to see like a 6-month-old pregnant Neytiri, not 6-month-old pregnant, 6-month pregnant Neytiri, like raising a bow, and you know, and it's a bit like, right, okay, Jim. So your vision of a strong woman is a woman who can kick ass, but then also has the heavy weight and burden of screaming when her kids are in danger.
Yeah,
it's pretty different from Ellen Ripley.
That's the weird thing.
Yeah.
He's written good, strong women before. You know,
yeah, he has.
Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio
like,
in The Abyss is a great character.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, yeah, Kate Winslet barely gets anything to do. I'm assuming she's going to be in the next one more.
Yeah, I mean, Kate Winslet has anything to do to the point of where I actually had to check after we came out, thinking, "Who the fuck was Kate Winslet in that?"
Yeah, easily done. But yeah, Zoe Saldana, it's admonishing Sam Worthington or screaming.
Yeah.
That's
She doesn't seem to like him that much.
No.
She doesn't seem like anything that much.
But I think Sam Worthington was alright.
Yep.
But you get his arc. And I thought the ICU to his kid at the end was actually quite touching. Like I liked their relationship, and it's going to be interesting to see how the kid develops in the future films. There are aspects of this that are like, yeah, I will watch the next one, but and the thing is, it's James Cameron, so he's going to do what he wants, but these don't need to be as long as they are. Like, I get that he's in love with like this culture that he's invented, and the space whale shit is great. That whole fucking subplot about the like ostracized space whale, and it turns out he like went on a violent religious crusade against a bunch of space whalers. That's great.
Yeah,
I would actually watch that shit all day.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of fucking shoe leather in this film.
That's it. That and the quite clear like Vietnam parable that you have with Stephen Lang's character, where they're going from village to village, trying to find them and torching the villages. He's really quite powerful. It's quite good, and I think Stephen Lang's fantastic in this. He comes across as such a shit of a character, but the problem is that it's like he says on at least 2 occasions, "Oh, and you know I'm not bluffing." It's like, except you are, because you had ample opportunity to kill one of his kids, and he's got like 4 of them, and if you account Spider, he's got effectively 4 and a fucking half of them. And you actually don't kill a single one. One of them gets caught effectively in crossfire. So, no, I don't believe you're going to kill one of his kids, because you haven't fucking done it. There's a bit was in like when I find you, I'm gonna kill all of you. No, you won't. You actually literally had like 3 of them chained to a thing. You didn't kill one of them.
But I mean, yeah. But saying all this, I found it more interesting than the first one. It's a shitty thing to say, but I'm going to say it. I think part of it is because this is a better screensaver than the first film is.
Oh god, yeah, it looks so much better. However, did you get about halfway through, or maybe like 3/4 way through, and go, hang on a minute, what does the people behind Stephen Lang get out of him killing Jake Sully now? I don't get it. They seem to be doing all right.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, actually, yeah, what is the...
He's gone.
Because
he's gone.
Because, I mean, like, he's like the leader of the forest people, but now he's giving it to fucking substitute teacher guy. I did like that as well.
Yeah.
Like, this, yeah, I gave it over to this guy. Like, the whole first film, the whole first film is about him finding his people and becoming the leader of this like nation, essentially.
Yeah.
And within an hour of this one, it's I'm fucking it off because I'm putting everybody in danger. And then what does he do?
Gives it to
he goes
Jeremy
to
and
this
Mark.
other nation, puts everybody in danger through the dumbest fucking thing. And this was so lazy. The way that they find him is Kiri has that attack, and then they get Joel David Moore and delete Raoul over.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, of course they're going to be able to track them.
Yep.
It is so lazy. It's so lazy.
And the thing is, when they land at the water place, Cliff Curtis and what's it? Kate Winslet are like, well, hang on a minute. We don't have a war here. We're all right. You're going to bring it here. No, we won't. And you watch it going, they will.
But and I know they bring in the space whaling and like as a way of going like, well, okay, you do have a fight here, but it is. They would have had a lot easier time if the Sullys had never come.
Absolutely, yeah.
Kate Winslet is right, yeah. And that like I don't know, that bothers me. But the third one, now he's like, I realise that I can't run, I have to fight. I don't know. I mean, like, the first hour of the film, you were fighting pretty bloody well, buddy. Yeah. What changed? Okay, you've got someone who's got a vendetta against you specifically, and now wherever you go, destruction is in your wake.
Yeah.
But Cliff Curtis is like, well, I'm honourable, so you can stay.
But
Cliff Curtis
the
was responsible for the deaths of a lot of his people.
But the other bit there is, the guy who has the vendetta against him is dead. In his mind, he thinks he's killed him. So,
yeah.
So they're going to fight the... And also, seriously, Sam, stop calling them the fucking Sky People. You don't need to call them Sky People. You literally used to be a Sky person. You know it's the humans. It's just a bit like... You've been a bit performative now. We get it. You're one of them now.
Little bit of breaking news.
Ooh, go
on. Todd Field is premiering a short at Berlin next year that will, and I quote, expand the Tar universe.
Oh, God. Oh, I really hope there's going to be like a Tar game.
Sorry, that just... I mean, like, I don't know, that's one of the funniest fucking... That's like an Onion article.
The world is like an Onion article nowadays.
Fucking hell. It's... anyway, yeah. Look, it's... I don't begrudge people for liking these films. That's absolutely fine. But I'm personally glad that people aren't as gaga for this one as they were for the first one. I don't feel like I'm taking crazy pills, whereas I did with the first one.
Yeah. What I will say...
But it's also a better film than the first one, marginally.
And within the film itself, it's a better film when it's an action film than when it's an adventure film.
Yeah. Cameron and guns, like, I know he likes the whole kind of like the indigenous people uprising stuff, but he shoots guns really well. He shoots people shooting guns really well.
Yeah, it is. The end sequence, although it goes on way too long, it looks really good. It's a good looking movie, with the exception of that middle fucking hour and a half where it's like, right, I thought you'd already built this world. Why are you building another version of it that's still not anywhere near interesting enough?
That's exact. I mean, and that's exactly it. He does that in the first one, then he does it again in this one because he's decided, oh shit, actually, I want to do all these films by the water.
Yeah, And is the next one going to be Avatar fucking 3, the fucking Sandheads? Or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a worry. But hey, we'll
yeah. Or the Rock people.
We'll see. Look, and I'm definitely not shit because I can't say the film's shit. I can't.
It's definitely not shit. It's not shit. Do you know what the weirdest thing about it is? That I got I was about halfway through it. I actually thought, do you know what? I think Bex would actually really quite like this.
Oh wow, okay.
She will never watch it. But I think she might quite like it.
It's very sincere. It's got its heart on its sleeve. You know, there are really, really good sequences in it. There's some decent characters in it. There's also a bunch of fucking bobbins.
Yeah.
But I think maybe the bobbins good stuff ratio was improved in this one.
Absolutely.
But I will never watch it again. There is zero chance you have me watching Tuvatar: The Way of Tuta for 192 minutes ever again.
No, because the next one's out. Is it next year or the year after?
Next year.
Next
year. Then there's a break, and then if basically Cameron said they could stop after part 3 if this one doesn't do well enough. Like there is a natural ending. Otherwise, there could be another 2.
Yeah, so there'll be one next year, and then there won't be any more after that. Then
maybe. I mean, it really depends on how this weekend does.
I'm going to predict that there will be another one, and then there will not be any more after that.
It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, like I said, I will never watch it again just because it will still be enough in my brain next year that I can remember, and I don't even think there'll be enough of a previously on Avatar to it. But our audience poll is definitely not shit 40% and shit 60%.
There you go.
Fair play.
Yeah. I know. As I've been saying, I was looking forward to it. I had a feeling I was going to like it, and I do. I like it fine. I'm just emphatically unbothered by these films.
Yeah, I'm glad people get something out of them. I do think that it would be bonkers if this movie got nominated for Best Picture in the same way as I thought it was bonkers at the time that the first one got nominated for Best Picture. And again, the argument that people have about the first one is it was the ambition and everything like that. And I can almost, even though it's a thing that I despise, the whole, at least it has ambition thing. If somebody takes a shot from inside their own half and it goes a mile wide, you don't praise them for having ambition. But with this one, you can't say anything about the ambition of it because it's taken 12 years and $400 million. That's not ambition. That is time and money.
Yeah.
But I am genuinely glad that I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, so am I. Jesus.
Yeah.
Don't go to these films wanting to fucking not like them. Jesus.
No. But it is 3 and a bit hours long, and it's too fucking long.
Hey Hannah, I think you really can't beat a good rewatch of a TV show. Would you agree with that, love?
Oh, yes, I would.
Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I think during, global pandemics, storms, all of these things, it's quite nice to just sit down and burn through something that you've seen a million times.
Absolutely, nothing like a binge watch.
Star Trek.
Babylon 5.
Because you could sit there for hours looking at serial killer documentaries.
Absolutely, that
Netflix.
doesn't make you a weird person at all.
It doesn't. Yeah, you could watch documentaries that all seem to be about women killing men.
Love you, darling.
You could put off watching Daredevil for the 30th time.
Harry Potter.
But really, you can't beat immersing yourself in the warm jumper of a rewatch of a show or a franchise.
Beloved franchise.
Lord of the Rings.
Twin Peaks. From VHS compilations recorded off television with the ad breaks, cut out of course, to DVD box sets of Sex and the City and, I don't know, Smallville.
Farscape.
Quantum Leap. To giving up finding new content on Netflix and just having a comfort trawl through Star Trek The Next Generation or Parks and Recreation. I think that we can all agree.
There's a lot to be said for that.
You can't beat a good rewatch. So, with that in mind, join
Hannah
and Mike from Chinstroker vs. Pencil as we burn through some of our favourite franchises and share our immediate reactions to each instalment in both spoiler and non-spoiler sections. To do that, do a search for the Rewatch Project with Hannah and Mike on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whichever your favourite podcast provider may be, or go directly to anchor.fm/rewatch project. We are proud members of the Pod Syndicate family of podcasts.
Have you ever wondered what so-called family films will scar your kids forever?
Putting 4 and 5-year-olds in front of this movie, it's like, if they didn't know what death was before this, they're going to know it after it.
They're going to know it after it, and they're going to be freaking terrified.
And they're going to be questioning you.
Yeah.
Or do you have the slight suspicion that your loved one has a cold, dead heart?
Yeah, the Dark Knight has got like all the orphans and like, oh no, we're going to die. They did not build up those orphans at all. In my head, it's like, kill them.
Then look no further. The His Film Her Movie podcast is the show for you. It's the movie podcast that celebrates the contrasting cinematic tastes of its hosts. So join Jordan and Lauren every week on their unique journey through the land of the silver screen. So if you're looking for a few laughs, some fun film-related chat, then get involved. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Bardo is directed by Alejandro G. Inarritu and stars Daniel Jimenez Cacho, Griselda, it's gone. Siciliana, and Ximena La Madrid. That will do. And I butchered those names and I apologise. Bardo. What does IMDb say about this one then? An acclaimed journalist turned documentarian goes on an oniric, introspective journey to reconcile with the past, the present, and his Mexican identity. I'll start on this. So, because fuck it. So, Bardo. Screened in a 20-minute longer cut at, I think, Venice and Telluride. Got really bad reviews, and then Inarritu cut out 20 minutes. Now, what that longer cut must have contained, I don't know. I like Bardo.
Yeah.
Because because I'm being a little stinker with it though, where Inarritu is so far up his own arse that he's just coming back round the bend again.
Ian, what I will say is, his profile picture on IMDb, that man definitely made Bardo.
Yeah, 100%. This is... Woe is me. I don't feel like people truly appreciate me, despite the fact that my films do well commercially, critically, and I've won the Best Director Oscar twice. But woe is me, people don't really understand me, cinema. Which is so breathtakingly engaging in its sheer dickheadery that I really quite admire it. I absolutely could see how this would be like the worst film of the year to a good many people, and I am not surprised it got bad reviews. But there is a shithousery to this film that I enjoy. The fact that he convinced Netflix to give him $75 million to make this film, which is gorgeous.
Yep.
And full of really solid performances. And has elements of 8.5 and elements of all that jazz and elements of Birdman, and just throws fucking everything at the screen, but then also just screams "fuck you," but also "fuck me." I don't know who I hate more, me or you, for 2.5 hours. Staggering. I was listening to the Big Picture podcast earlier on today, and they were reviewing this, and I'm paraphrasing here, but Sean Fennessy, the host, said it was the natural end point of the Netflix auteur era, where it's just like, right, Netflix have reached the point where they've given Inarritu $75 million to make a film where he's like, I've got too much money and no one loves me. Why doesn't anyone love me and give me more money?
It's almost like they've given him
film.
$75 million to make a movie that even he doesn't want to watch.
No, exactly. It is. I mean, but I found it really compelling and I found it really engaging. But it's also just, it's such a fuck you to the audience that I just find it funny. Your thoughts, Mark?
I am in exactly the same place as you with it. I had a great time with it. It's bananas absurdism that I like. It is. You messaged me and said, there's a moment in the film where it's almost like oh shit, he's got too much money. And the thing is, I think it's from when the film starts to when the film ends.
Yeah. So you're right. Just to say, the specific moment where I said that was when he is having a conversation with his dad in a toilet, but they've basically put a kid in grown-up clothes and then done face replacement and stuck his face on the kid or something. It's like the Captain America effect, but it's just the fact that he's like, so I can have a conversation with my dead dad. And it, like you said, it's the hologram thing from Iron Man. No, not from whatever, Captain America Civil War. It's that. And Inarritu's just gone, fuck it, I'm going to do that in Bardo.
But I'm going to do it in this surrealist fucking madhouse of a movie. It's... Oh... The thing is, it's absolutely breathtakingly beautiful at points as well. But it's also got an opening where we have a child being born, but the child doesn't like the world, so it gets to be unborn, and then weirdly, like, the mother's walking away and she needs to have the umbilical cord cut off her. What?
Yeah.
It's the sequence in the TV studios is absolutely brilliant. The him just not answering any questions as the host is just pecking at him and essentially ridiculing him constantly is... you are watching it going, I very much know what you're doing here. It reminded me of the time, and I was talking to Bex about this, the time where, do you remember, it's a good few years ago, where Tom Hardy was quite snippy with Jonathan Ross.
Sure.
On the Jonathan Ross show. And weirdly, because Tom Hardy was in The Revenant. And he's since spoken about Tom Hardy and said, the problem is, they get you on these shows, and they... then spend all this time trying to embarrass you and prod you and prod you and prod you, and you're supposed to sit there and just fucking smile.
Just take it.
And take it. And then if you go, well, no, I was fucking 19, fuck off. You're the arsehole.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit, it was like that. But you watch it going, we know exactly where you're coming from here, Inarritu. You're him. Everybody knows this. And it's just... the thing is, it was about sort of halfway through that I realised I had to stop it and go, hang on a minute, I just need to refresh my mind with what films Inarritu's made. And I went through it, was like, do you know what? I don't think I've ever properly, fully got on. I've appreciated parts of Inarritu's films, but there's not one that I look at and go, I think that is fucking clicked me, I thought was great. I'm a little bit on all of them. It's why I've only ever seen all of them once. But I really kind of enjoyed just it's funny and it's fun, this movie, but it's also fucking 2.5 hours long and has realistically nothing to say other than woe is me, but kind of alright, fair enough, I am also those things.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting because with Birdman, he made a really, really prescient film about how superhero movies were just going to completely take over, and then they did. Then with Bardo, it's like he's gone, well, fuck it. While I've still got the chance to do something like this, I'm gonna do something like this. Like, Inarritu will never be given $75 million ever again.
God, no. And there's an argument to say that he should never have been given $75 million in the first place.
Very much agree with that. But it's not my money.
No, but it also... and I absolutely agree with that. But it smacks back to the... when Netflix, for instance, give $150 million to X director, and people go, why aren't they giving $30 million to this director, and this director, and this director to make better, more interesting movies? Well, no one's fucking saying that when they're giving $75 million to Inarritu for him to essentially make a Paddy movie.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, a Paddy movie that I really liked. But it is. It's a guy having a strop and throwing a tantrum, but also wanting to actually, at the same time, criticise his own tantrum.
Yeah. It's
Snake eating its own tail, the movie.
But I mean, the great thing about it, though, you know that he is completely humorless about it.
Oh yeah,
that he takes all of this so seriously.
Yeah,
and it's just, I'm pretty sure I like this film for the reasons that Inarritu would fucking hate.
Yes,
but that's fine. It just, but this film probably shouldn't exist. And I'm glad it does, but I'm only glad it does because I didn't pay for it. Like, if this was funded with taxpayer money, I'd be fuming.
The thing is, it not only that, it's the other thing is, even Netflix doesn't seem to want you to know that it exists.
I know. I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's not in the top 10 at all. There was no promotion. Like, I had to search for it on my Netflix.
Yeah.
And it's, the awards chances have basically gone down the toilet. Like, it's got a chance at international feature, but that's about it, and that's a lot less than Netflix would have been hoping for. But it's just, the thing is, I think I gave it 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd because I enjoyed my time with it. But would I necessarily recommend it to anyone? I don't think so. I think just as a weirdly engaging, very funny for the wrong reasons look at just excess and just a dickhead whining about shit.
Well, I watched it without Becky.
It's something.
Yeah, I watched it without Becky, and then recommended it to Becky and said, I really do think you should watch Bardo because it's really something. And she's about halfway through it, and she's really enjoying it. So, the thing is, if Netflix are going to go, do you know what? We don't just want to invest in American movies because when we are an American company, but all of our customers aren't American customers. And, you know, there's a simple fact of the matter is, when you do the math, there are more Spanish-speaking people in the world than there are English-speaking people in the world. So, having a Spanish-speaking movie by a Mexican director, it kind of makes sense. I don't know what the percentage is of Spanish-speaking Netflix account holders, but there's a little bit of, do you know what? Maybe we aren't seeing this because it isn't being marketed. Maybe in fucking Mexico, this is the #1 fucking movie, and they're fucking laughing around like they're watching a new Top Cat. Who fucking knows? But yeah, give me this. If every couple of years Netflix just gives someone fucking random just a bit of a blank check and go make an indulgent fucking madhouse, I'd be alright with that. We know they're not going to anymore because they don't have the money. Well, not they don't have the money. They don't have the risk now. But yeah, fuck it, why not? I had a good time with Bardo. We'll never watch it again. But
yeah, fucking hell.
But that's because it is just so long. But it's fun.
Yeah. Definitely not shit, but in a odd way.
Definitely not shit, but honestly, watch the trailer. It's 2.5 hours of that.
Fair.
Geostorm, 100%.
Oh, there you go. That's funny. All right, cool. Okay, so let's talk about some what we've been watching then. So, Mark, what have you got on the docket this week, sir?
So obviously I spoke about Avatar. So I've already got a couple of other ones because it's been, you know, we've watched a lot of like long movies for the main show.
Yep.
So I rewatched, and it's a couple of Christmas rewatches because obviously it's Christmas. I rewatched Home Sweet Home Alone. Because I watched this last year and was kind of a little bit like, do you know what? It's a bit shit, and the kid is really fucking irritating. Like, to the point of where he's not charming, irritating. He's just a fucking dick. And you hope that he dies. But I kind of enjoyed the Christmas element of it and got enough out of it and found Ellie Kemper and Rob Delaney sort of charming enough that I got enough out of it. And then rewatching it this year, I didn't get the same charming out of Ellie Kemper and Rob Delaney, and the kid annoyed me even more, and I was watching it going, I really wish that kid would die. It's really just like, it has none of the charm of Home Alone. And I don't even think the sequels for Home Alone have any of the charm of Home Alone. It is very much a series of movies that effectively has one good movie in it. But yeah, this is not very good. And I know that next year I'm going to go, fuck it, I'll give it another watch. And it'll probably go even further down in my estimations. But yeah, it's just bad. It's just a bad movie, and I can see why they sent it straight to streaming rather than actually attempting to even try to release it at the cinema.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking hell. That Archie Yates kid, I mean, shit. Just, he's not done anything since this, apart from a voice thing. And he did like Jojo Rabbit and this in the space of a short period of time. And it's probably because he's very annoying.
Yeah, I mean that's a kid who, like, as soon as he enters adolescence, will not be camera ready anymore.
Yeah, it's what a piece of shit. What's not a piece of shit though, and fast becoming one of my, you know, like one of my I will defend this on the hill till I fucking die movies is Holiday.
I like Holiday. Holiday's all right.
Yeah, Holiday is a fucking great time, and it's the 4th time I've watched this movie, and it came out in 2020.
Yeah,
And I genuinely, because Bex keeps arguing saying, but it's not technically a Christmas movie. I'm like, no, it starts at Christmas and it fucking ends at Christmas. I'm calling it a Christmas movie. But it is just, it's very charming. And I personally find Emma Roberts quite charming in general anyway. But Luke Bracey's very fun in it. And Jessica Capshaw's a lot of fun in it. And it's just it's what these type of movies should be. So, you know, if this had come out the cinema and I got to see it at the cinema, would I have liked it? Yeah, I probably would. But a lot of people would have been a little bit like, what the fuck is this movie? But it's, if movies are getting made for streaming services, this is about the level that I hope for, is that they're just really fun and charming and have a little bit of a spin of something different on them. And this does. It's a rom-com that isn't as schmaltzy as it could be, and, you know, isn't a 12A, but is also set around Christmas. It's a fucking good time, this holiday, and I do genuinely look forward to watching it every year.
Nice.
And that is it for me, because obviously I watched Avatar as well, which is like fucking 3 hours long.
Okay, no worries. Cool.
What
So
you
I've
been catching?
I've got a few things. In terms of Christmas adjacent movies, rewatched The Night Before.
I'm looking forward to watching this.
Just remains incredibly fucking funny. The Seth Rogen thread in that of just doing all the drugs is incredible. Just like, it's such a good bit where they're like, "You got any weed?" And he like pulls out this blunt. It's like, "You only got one blunt." And it's just like, "Yeah, she never really."
Proportions are all wrong.
All the proportions out of whack. It's fucking brilliant. And just when he's doing the mushrooms and he's the freaking out about the baby, and he's just like doing the video recording. He's like, "Fuck you, baby! Fuck you, cunt!" It's great
when he's fucking trying to act not fucking high. He's trying his not high face.
Yeah. That stuff's gold. I mean, bit of a shame that at the centre of it you've got JGL and like just again playing infatuated with a woman, but he's kind of a dickhead and she can do better. Which is kind of JGL on screen. But yeah, I like it. And Michael Shannon as the magical drug dealer is good times. So watch The Holiday. Not Holidate, The Holiday, which is one that we basically watch every year at this point. It's fun bobbins. It's good Love Actually. There you go.
Do you know what? That is the perfect explanation for it. The Holiday is actually a really fucking fun movie, and I think that it should be a little bit higher up in people's lists.
Yeah, same. Absolutely same. Not a Christmas film, but
I'm going to try and get to The Holiday, but it might be one of those ones where I'm allowing myself to watch Christmas movies between Christmas and New Year because I just don't have the time at the moment. So I'm allowing myself that sort of week of grace to stay within the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, nice. I mean, I'm slowing down a bit, if I'm honest. Like, I don't think I'm getting to Krampus this year, but I feel like I'm maybe slightly Krampused out and could do with a year off.
We have tradition. We have a tradition Krampus watch, so we watch it all together on the 23rd and get a takeaway. So it's kind of like if I suggested and said, "Oh, maybe we don't watch Krampus this year," I think I would get, maybe you don't watch Krampus this year and you sit in the fucking shed, dickhead.
Nice. But yeah, I mean, like I got Elf and Christmas Vacation 4K discs to watch, and Muppet Christmas Carol with the added musical number back in it on Disney Plus. So I've got a few I still need to get through, and we're entertaining for in a couple of nights in the next few days. So it's going to be a tweet squeeze. And I got Scrooged as well. I need to get Scrooged done. So yeah, fucking hell. But wintry but not Christmas. I rewatched The Thing. The 4K disc of it looks tremendous, as you would expect. The Thing is great. It is perfect for what it is. I feel like this might be the last time I watch The Thing. It is a great film. It is a very bleak film, and this is the first time I've watched it since having Kiki. And there is some dog stuff in this film that I just can't deal with now. So yeah, there you go. It just, as I get older, I'm becoming more of a wuss when it comes to horror, and just like, especially like apocalyptic stuff. And, you know, with the state of the world at the moment, and it kind of feels like we're in the bad timeline at points, things like The Thing don't feel like escapism horror. They just kind of feel like, well, this is just the natural course of how things are going, innit? Yeah, The Thing. But it's brilliant. It's a film I probably don't need in my life. Which, to be honest, is kind of the case with a lot of Carpenter. Like In the Mouth of Madness, Prince of Darkness. Those are films that it's like, yeah, I could probably happily live my life not watching them again, despite the fact that I think they're brilliant. But there you go.
The ones you're probably going to keep and
folks,
rewatch are probably going to be things like Big Trouble and Escape from New York and bits like that.
Yeah, and even like Halloween, and I don't know why, but I just find that film quite a weirdly comfortable watch, and I think it's because I just know it and I'm so familiar with it. But yeah, there we are. Okay, so oh shit, last one. So I re-watched Nope, and so 4K disc of this looks fucking tremendous. My word. That is a transfer and a half. And this film, I get it now. The gaudy stuff, I understand why it's there. And I know this may sound very obvious to people, but first time round, I just did not click into the whole they're exploiting this animal like Stephen Ewan is trying to exploit the alien, and the lead characters are not necessarily trying to exploit the alien, but they're essentially trying to become famous by getting photographic proof of a UFO. And the whole thing of it is, do not stare at it. Do not. Essentially, all these things: the gaudy, the horses, the alien. They're wild animals that you can only tame up to a certain point.
Yeah.
And I get that. It's exploitation. The whole the image of the black man on the horse thing, like that black man who's nobody knows his name, he was exploited. It's all about exploitation, but it's also this film where it's like, but I'm going to tell you all of this in the biggest spectacle way possible. Which, and I mean, like, in the making of, really good 50-minute long making of, Jordan Peele says himself, this is a film about how much I love movies, but how much I hate movies as well. And it's like, yeah, you can actually feel that conflict in it. With all that, this film went up from a 7 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10 for me.
Oh, wow.
I think this film is, this film is exactly what Jordan Peele wanted to make from start to finish. It is a very singular vision, and it still remembers to be exciting. The third, Donna, didn't want to watch Nope because she thought it was like a horror film, and there are horror adjacent moments. I mean, the alien basically pissing blood all over its territory, their house, is a great dark comic horror moment. But she watched the full second hour of it and was in. Really, really locked in. And it was just because it's a really engaging watch, and you want to see what's going to happen at the end. And yeah, it's I think it's a hell of a film actually this time around. I really, really came around on it. Like Bullet Train.
Nice.
So, but I wasn't really drunk the first time I watched this. So yeah, Nope. Very, very good, and the disc is great. So, yeah, there you go. That is that. So, let's move on to our last review of the week. Steven Spielberg's The Fablemans, starring Gabriel LaBelle, Michelle Williams, Paul Dano, and Seth Rogen. I'm not going to look at IMDb for this. It's about Spielberg, but his name's Fableman.
Yep.
2.5 hours long. Starts with a wonderful Universal logo and Amblin logo mashup, which was yes please, I'll have more of that, thank you very much. Great stuff. But Mark, the Fablemans, how'd you take to it?
It's a weird one, isn't it? It's quite a... It's clearly like a very personal movie to Spielberg, and it's almost like he's going, right, I need to get this shit off my chest while I've still got the chance to get this shit off my chest. And so I don't know, is there a bit where the pandemic's happened and he's thought it's made a lot of people, and especially kind of people of a certain age, kind of look at their mortality and go, do you know what? Yeah, if I have a passion project, I need to do it now. And he's done that. I think it's odd that I think that the central performance of Gabriel Labelle kind of really holds the film together really quite well. I think he's very, very good in it, and I think it's strange the fact that of the awards buzz around the acting performances, it's Michelle Williams who's getting that. I think she's fine, but I do think she teeters towards being too far to one edge of the piece. It's too OTT at points, and I get that the character is supposed to be OTT at points, but I do think it's a little bit too far. It's, if you're going into it expecting what you would usually get from, or what people expect to get from Spielberg, I think people will be disappointed. If you go into it and you look at Spielberg's more introspective works, which there are ones out there, it's just people don't know what they're called because things like Indiana Jones and Jurassic Park exist. That it's quite a love letter to the ingenuity of a filmmaker. So there's almost bits of going, look, when I started out making films, you know, I was making films, you know, on a Super 8. This is how we did this, and this is how I did this, and this is how I did this. And I don't think it's him showing off as such. It's him just going, we had to be clever. And I was quite clever with it. And I'm kind of proud that I was quite clever with it. And I really quite liked that. It deals with the life dynamics quite well, but it's also, if you're not invested in the family dynamic of it, I can see why this film will struggle to make a huge amount of money, is what I would say.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, this, and I think what you were saying there about like people maybe older filmmakers kind of like turning the lens in on themselves like during the pandemic, I think is interesting. Like Spielberg said himself, if it wasn't for the pandemic, this probably wouldn't have happened.
Oh, I didn't know he'd said that, but yeah, I can absolutely see why where he's coming from with that, certainly.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's just insightful, dude. And it you know, I mean, it's like with Bardo as well. It's it kind of feels like if people weren't locked up, left to their own devices for so long, would he have made a film like Bardo?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the thing is, and I'm sounding a bit down about like the future of cinema and stuff on today's show, and I apologise for all that because I do try not to be, and I think it's been an absolute banger year. But I'm this film not doing well is just so unsurprising to me. Like I think I really I like the Fablemans, and it's grown on me. But if you are someone who doesn't have that much of an interest in cinema, you just watch movies if you think they look good. I don't know why you would like see the marketing for the Fablemans and go, yes please. It's Spielberg basically doing a therapy session like Bardo is,
But in
they're
the Spielberg
similar
way.
films in their intent there, but it's done in a Spielbergian way where you get that love of the movies and his love for both his parents, but the difference between them, and that all that kind of inspirational stuff. But it feels like a film made for LA. I don't know. Like, it is interesting. I was listening to the Director's Cut podcast where it was Spielberg and PTA. It's a really nice conversation, and PTA was saying like, "Oh, my kids like finished watching this film, and they were like, oh, I want to pick up my phone and shoot something now." And like Spielberg was like, "Yeah, I mean that's the kind of thing I'm hoping for." And it's like that's lovely, but that's Paul Thomas Anderson's kids saying that. Like, I mean, Lottie wouldn't sit through the Fablemans, and I know she wouldn't. But to be honest, I wouldn't expect a 15-year-old to sit through it either. Would I expect PTA's kids to? Maybe, but I don't. And I think Noel said similar in our chat as well from when he watched it. It was just like, who's it for other than people who already have an interest in film? And the answer is probably no one. No. And that's absolute, like, I do, and I liked the film, and a large part of it is because of that. But I mean, like, the last scene of the film is an absolute banger.
Yep.
But if you said to anyone who doesn't really know anything about films what the last scene of this film would be, they'd be like, what?
Yeah, I would also say if you said to anybody who doesn't know that much about films, and that's not a criticism, for people who don't,
Oh God, no criticism at all. Like, if anything, I'm criticising the film for being as insular as it is.
If you said to them, "Who's that guy sat there?" Not only who is that guy sat there, who is the guy sat there, and who is the actor playing that guy sat there, most would go, I don't know either. And if you went, "It's John Ford, it's David Lynch," most would go, "All right, who?" There would be an element of that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But there's another way that I was thinking about that, and I do absolutely agree with you. But there's also another point of it of, do you know what? That's all right though. In the same way as the guy who is the most listened to artist on Spotify, I have never heard of, and I can't even remember his name now. And he's been the most listened to artist on Spotify the past 2 years running. And I have no idea who he is. He does not exist in my universe. But he clearly exists in a lot of other people's universes. So I think there is room for all these things. It's just, this movie is not going to... If this movie was made by, I think, somebody else, weirdly, and it was just a movie about the love of cinema, I think it might connect a little bit different. You might be able to release it in fucking March or April or something like that and get a little bit of a buzz going for it. But it isn't. It's the new Steven Spielberg movie. And he's becoming... It's not even like he's becoming... I think there's a weird, like... There's Steven Spielberg, the director. Steven Spielberg, the director in name. And then there's Steven Spielberg, the director in actual. And they're two slightly different kind of things. He's been quite scattergun across his career in an odd way. That there are movies within his career that people have completely forgotten exist. And when you think about Spielberg, you think Jaws, you think E.T., you think Saving Private Ryan, and Schindler's List is his, like, prestige bits. But nobody fucking thinks about, like, The Colour Purple. Or Always, for instance. Always he made the same year as Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Even, like, hardcore Spielberg fans will probably forget that if they're trying to list all of Spielberg's movies. It's just... I mean, in the past 5 years, he's made The Post, Ready Player One, West Side Story, and The Fablemans. It's a bonkers 4 movies back to back. And the movie made before that was the fucking BFG.
It's a film. I'm really, really glad that Spielberg got to make it. But I do slightly feel like there's a changing of the guard is gonna be happening. I mean, obviously, like Spielberg's getting into his 80s, and that a lot of these big directors are getting older, and it feels like a film that would have been a bigger deal 20, 30 years ago.
Yes.
But it's just because films themselves are. It's not a monoculture anymore. There is so much out there fighting for attention that a film that is so into films and into the wonder of cinema as this is, and like Sam Mendes has got Empire of Light coming up, which like feels similar, but also has some like social issue stuff going on in it as well. These are. And weirdly enough, I mean, like White Noise, Noah Baumbach's film, it's like and Bardo, these are all films where it feels like these directors are not going to get these chances to do these films again.
No, but I think you have these kind of like peaks and troughs that you have with cinema tend to happen quite a lot, where you get the director star things happen quite a lot. You had the 70s where it was very much the the age of the auteur, and people are often surprised that a lot of that people like Scorsese and Spielberg and De Palma and Peter Bogdanovich and people like this were getting the movies they're making weren't like indie movies. They was like studio pictures. And then the 80s, Spielberg and George Lucas kickstarted. The 80s was very much the age of excess and the blockbuster, but we were still having like interesting movies were getting made within that time. You still had Freaky making things like To Live and Die in LA, and the 80s are littered with quite interesting movies, fucking Manhunter and bits like that. Then the 90s, it kind of looked back on the 70s, and you had, the directors exploded again. It seems like, they tried to do that a little bit in the 90s with the horror directors, but then everyone found out that they were a little bit shit. The weirdness of it is, we kind of have had that a little bit, but it's, like you say, there's so much noise out there nowadays. Or not even that there's so much noise out there. The noise is so... You can hear it so much easier. Because if a film gets announced, or a new album gets announced, or fucking anything gets announced as is going to happen, everybody can know about it within 15 seconds. Whereas you used to have to find out about it on a weekly basis in a magazine, or a fucking, watching, a weekly magazine TV show or anything like that. Nowadays, it's not. It's within 15 seconds, it's out there, and within an hour, there's opinion pieces. Within 2 hours, there's video reactions. And because that can happen so quickly, by the time the day's out, there needs to be a new news story. So things don't have enough time to kind of settle and permeate. Fuck it. We're both from a generation that remembers how fucking big a deal Jurassic Park was. And that was, there was like news segments about it. There was, an entire morning dedicated to it getting released the following week on like kids' TV shows. It was a fucking huge deal, and you don't tend to have that as much. And the Marvel films did it a little bit, but the thing is, there seems to be a little bit of a the fact that Marvel have screwed the pooch the past 2 years seems to create this little bit of a vacuum where no one quite knows how to fill it apart from Tom Cruise.
Yeah. And but I mean, getting like the film itself. We've talked about the film as an abstract concept representing the future of cinema, as opposed to the film itself, which is led by me. So apologies, but yeah, I mean, I think Gabriel Labelle is great. Super impressive performance as a young Spielberg. I mean, how stressful that must have been for him. I can't even, but I think he did well. Michelle Williams. At first, I thought was, what is this? And then it just it's quite simply revealed. It's just like a manic performance. She's just stuck, and she doesn't know what to do, and she's trying to find something in her life that just gives her a pep in her step. And it's not necessarily her husband, but her husband's also very nice. So, what is that going to be? So I kind of twigged into that after a bit, and Paul Dano didn't get as much to do as I thought he was going to, if I'm honest.
But I think that's intentional in the fact that it's playing to the fact that he was a workaholic who wasn't really there that much. So within the movie, he's not really there that much, and the only time he is, all he's ever talking about is work.
Yeah, and the whole kind of you should see things from my point of view kind of thing. It's I don't know, it's interesting. I kind of saw a little bit of myself in there in terms of how I work, and I'm an advice monster. I discovered in a course earlier this year, and I kind of felt okay, yeah, that's a bit like Paul Dano in this, which I thought was interesting. Yeah, Seth Rogen, again, not in it that much. I mean, disappears from the film completely. And is fine. He's Seth Rogen, but a bit more chill.
Bex said about this, he can do all the dramatic performances he wants. He can do all the introspective films and the non-comedy roles that he wants, but he will never not have that laugh.
Yeah.
And it is there, and it always makes me smile.
But again, for this, I'm it's nice that Seth Rogen got to work with Spielberg. That's kind of what I come away from this film of. It's nice that Spielberg got to do this, and it's nice that the people in it got to work with Spielberg. And I really liked it. And it's obviously in love with filmmaking. It's full of good shots. It's got a nice low key John Williams score. I suppose just out of it, I just think but of course.
Yeah.
Which is a dick thing to say, but it's just kind of how I feel about it.
And that's it. It should be, but I think it's a lot better than anybody will give it credit for. But everybody will give it enough credit in a weird way. There's a, like I say, I thought the character Sam's sort of life and the fact that his reactions of viewing these things, like when he works out. Editing the video together. My mum's having an affair with the guy who is my dad's best friend. And the way he deals with that is quite interesting. And the way he deals with being bullied at school. It all feels... It feels like Spielberg is giving you a bit of a... Right, this might have happened. This did happen. This might have happened. This did happen. But there's also an element of it that... I do feel like it's a very glossy version of. I've said this before on the podcast, but it always bothers me when you've got period pieces and the clothes look like it's the first time they've ever been worn. It shouldn't look like that. Yeah. And there is an element to this that it has no depth of it doesn't feel like they've lived in that place. It feels like they've visited that place for the day to pretend they lived there. Which is disappointing because it's Steven Spielberg, but I have had that feeling about a few of his... Because he's done a lot of period movies recently, and they all feel a little bit like, yep, that's the first time that jacket's been worn, and it might never get worn again. Mm-hmm. But it's a good film. And the end scene is an absolute stone cold fucking banger.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And just the last shot as well.
Yeah.
With like the jerky motion up to the horizon. It's lovely, playful little thing.
Yeah, I barely laughed and clapped at that.
And apparently Spielberg was originally going to do... It was going to be the original shot, and then Spielberg himself was going to say cut. And it's like, I'm glad they went with this.
I'm glad they went with that. It's such a... you know what? Well done. It's a...
Yeah.
It's not as much weirdly, I don't think it's as much a love letter to cinema as such. More a love letter to the obsession with a craft. With almost like it's... He keeps saying in the film, it's not a hobby. But at the time, it kind of... It was. But I get the fact that the character doesn't see it as a hobby. He sees it as almost an obsession. And that's cool. You know, him sat there earlier on in the film where he's editing it together and he's taking the reels and he's writing it down and everything like that. You watch it going, this is fucking brilliant. It's somebody just getting that obsessed with something that they are building skills for the future. And that you can totally get the right. Yeah, I bet Spielberg was like that, and that is why he was like this. He was seen as like a prodigy when he burst onto the scene doing TV work.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like I'm just very. That's nice.
Yeah.
About the whole thing.
Yeah, I am as well, and I think it's quite nice that it's nice.
Yeah. Definitely not shit. Like really, definitely not shit. But I'll be honest. It's not going to be in my top 10. I think it's a cracking film. Like it didn't speak to me as much as I could see it. Obviously, speaking to a lot of people, and that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, I'm like that. It's definitely not shit. It's a 4 out of 5 movie for me, but it'll be a 4 out of 5 that isn't near my top 10, and I'm kind of all right with that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I am. As well, I don't think it feels 2.5 hours long.
No. I'd say, I agree.
Whereas I think the other movies we watch do feel how long they are, but not necessarily in a horrible way.
Good old Bardo.
Fucking hell. That film, it's bonkers.
Okay. What have we got questions wise?
What the fuck is this? So Dylan Blackland has responded to the Pinocchio question from last week, but he's responding to it this week, and I need to read it out. So our question last week, I didn't put out a question this week because I just forgot and I didn't have time. I've watched a lot of movie today. Because effectively, actually, I watched the rest of Bardo this morning, then went to the cinema to watch Avatar, and then watched the Fablemans. So I've had a good day. I genuinely had a good day.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed my day watching films. But yeah, our question last week was who gets a crack at Pinocchio next and in which style? And he's put Michael Flatley once again returning as Pinocchio. Which, of course, Blackbird is out there now, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
And I need to watch it. And I'm going to try and make time this week to watch it.
Nice.
Other question, Rick Kidd. The reason why I haven't watched it yet is because Becky hasn't been very well and I've not been that well, and I want to watch it with a clear mind. Rick Kidd, hope you all have a great Christmas. We hope all of you have a great Christmas, and thank you very much for that.
Absolutely.
If you could give a Christmas gift to a movie character, what would it be, and what would you give them?
John McClane's shoes.
That's a fucking cracking shout. That's a really good shout, that.
Just be more comfy.
One gift to a movie character. But what is it? I would give Jack Black's character from High Fidelity a copy of I Just Called to Say I Love You by Stevie Wonder.
That's good.
Just because I think it would be fucking amusing.
Yeah, you're being a little stinker. Fair enough.
Yep. And it'd be on vinyl too.
Nice.
Yeah. That was all the questions we had this week. I did put that out quite late. Like I say, I've had a busy old day.
Yeah, fair enough.
So,
okay.
What are we covering next week?
Yeah, next week we've got Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery for between Christmas and New Year. Assuming we can record, because I'll be honest, literally the only day I can record next week is Thursday.
Thursday. Let me have a look. Let me have a quick little look. Trying to think of what. Right, Thursday. What? Because days and dates have no meaning at the moment, do they? Because time doesn't exist.
Nope.
Thursday. I can do Thursday. 29th.
You can?
Yeah, I can do Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thursday
All right,
makes sense to me.
All right, so we will do Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. So there's probably going to be a little bit of a lag between this show being released and Nate's show being released. So apologies. It is what it is. It's Christmas and New Year. But yeah, Glass Onion. So we are a Pod Syndicate podcast. Chinstroker vs. Punter, Entertainment Landfill, his film, her movie, The Rewatch Project. Go listen to like-minded shows. We haven't done a Guy Ritchie this week, so I'm not going to promote the Patreon.
No, we didn't. We didn't feel like inserting another movie in when we had 3 beefy movies to watch.
Yeah, would have been rough. But you know, you can go to the Patreon. There's only like hundreds of hours worth of extra content on there.
Yep.
I'd imagine by this point, probably hundreds.
Yeah.
That is going to do it. Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you very much, Ian.
Thank you very much, listeners. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
Yes, Merry fucking Christmas.
Take care, stay safe, drive safe, don't drink too much. You know, drink, but just not too much, yeah?
And don't drink and drive.
Alright. Don't drink and drive, you fucking
And
prick.
please, check on Chris Rea, because no one still knows if he's alive or not.
No, it's just encased in ice in his car.
Yeah. I still definitely do think that every year Chris Rea's kids have to check to make sure, wait, is Dad dead? I'm not sure. Let's just check.
Yeah, absolutely. Bye.
Bye.